Okay, let's have a little look at somebody else who's potentially leaving the Carlton crew, Matt Owies. Now, Matt Owies is a very interesting human based on the map of his psyche. He is somebody who is likely to be a little bit secretive. The way that he shows up in the world is not honestly who he is. He is somebody who is a very emotional human being, somebody who transforms through the depth of his emotions, and somebody who requires a very nurturing presence around him for him to be able to show up as his true self. Now, he has this ability to be able to fire people up, particularly people within groups that feel like family to him. He has this ability to use words that are inspiring, to use words to bring in a really fiery emotion. And we can kind of see this with when he, kicks a goal and everyone kind of comes around him and he brings that huge energy. And that is because he has this ability to almost manipulate relationship dynamics to believe in what he's got to say. And he's very methodical about it. His masculine energy comes through a very methodical filter. It's very critical of how it shows up. He's very sure of the mask that he wears in public, right? He is not the same person at home by himself as he is that we see in public. That is a very organized and understood mask. And that doesn't mean that it's not real. It just means that there are a lot of things about Owies that he doesn't want to show people. Now, he is here to bring change to the world in how he takes risks, how he moves forward. And a lot of this has got to do with the way that he communicates with people and how he receives information from people, because he is very intuitive to people's emotional states, and he is very intuitive to the way that he is seen in groups of people and by groups of people. And this persona that he has developed is something that he believes shows the best version of his masculine energy in order for him to achieve what he wants in career. Now, because he is somebody who takes risks from a very lightning perspective, right? This is somebody who, is very disciplined about how they understand what they can have, very disciplined and organized and slow moving with seeing what they are worth in relation to, what I want to be when I grow up kind of energy. And once he kind of has a hold of that, once he has that in a solid form of where he wants to go, he is able to adapt very quickly to what people need. So once he then adapts, his rule structure comes from this place of what he wants and what he enjoys. Then, out of nowhere, the expansion will come. So this is somebody who, once they are shown something they can have, he will look over it. He will make sure that it fits within how he wants to be seen within the world, and is very quick to adapt to something new. So in the same way that Matt Kennedy has a pretty high chance of moving forward, Owies does too if the right opportunity presents itself. And this is likely to be, boom, there he goes. Like, we hear nothing, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's gone. He's got an offer, he's taken it, he's moved forward, he's now somebody else in a different uniform, playing for somebody else as if he's been there the whole entire time. Okay, now he is closing out a cycle in particular about this rule structure of his, really solidifying what it is he believes he is worth, what it is he believes he can offer, particularly in the way that he speaks to people, the way that his mind works. So the way that he is able to communicate the authentic thoughts and fire that his mind works from is really kind of solidifying for him. There's an understanding of what that is worth to other people that he's closing out. And he has just begun a new journey of finding his relationship dynamics that suit him. And he is being directed towards his most aligned purpose, which is to help people understand how they can also do the work to show up how they want to show up. to be the leader of their own life. That is part of what he is here to do. And he is overcoming a wound story of being too transformative, being too changeable, being able to adapt too much, having too many different personas, which, you know, it can be seen as a bad thing if when growing up it is seen as a very confusing and bad thing, okay? And so this is somebody who likely had a very strict father energy around them, very sure of themselves, very fiery, but also very fun, very spontaneous kind of father energy around them. And it's kind of where he gets that little bit of cheekiness from. But it had a mother energy around him that was very secretive, didn't really know how to project, you know, how they were feeling, didn't really know how to use their emotional state in an honest way. And it's part of how he's able to create this mask of how he wants to be seen in the world. So this is somebody who, because they are at the start of a new journey, and the second half of this journey and the end of a 2-year journey comes in April, if the right relationship dynamic presents itself that allows him to show up as a hard worker, as somebody taking leadership of their life in the career world, he will make that jump and he will adapt very quickly to it. And we will see him shine somewhere else in a different uniform very quickly. If Carlton do not keep him, he is going to shine wherever he goes. He is being activated toward his greatest purpose, which involves his career. So a part of his energy, the fire part of his energy, the way that he has this mask on in order to fit into the Carlton dynamic is potentially not going to work moving forward for him. If that whole Carlton energy of being a little bit stubborn about allowing people to be their truth, to be their true selves, if they can't evolve that, then I don't think that the Carlton energy is the right team for Matt to be able to shine his best light, because he will find his greatest discipline in a team that allows him to shift and change what he is worth to them based on what they require from him. His discipline comes from a place of knowing that he can adapt and change, and that he can be anything that is needed. So he needs to know what is needed from him, and he can do that. And at the moment, I think there is a very stuck kind of energy within the whole Carlton team that is not allowing him to do that. And so that is why we are seeing this, like, you know, very amazing energy from him, and then a pullback, and then amazing energy, and then a pullback, and then a little bit of sass and ego coming out because there's a lot of frustration going on. He is somebody very driven by his emotional state right now and whether or not he is allowed to transform. So if he's being held back in any way by the Carlton dynamic on how he wants to achieve his greatest good, he will be playing for another team. This is somebody who could fit into that kind of rebellious dynamic of a Collingwood, of, you know, a Hawks, of even, you know, a Swans kind of energy, where those sorts of teams are really allowing the authentic individual to shine. That is where somebody like Matt Owies, I think, will do their best, because allowing him to build a rule structure and build habits around who he wants to be in a leadership manner, and allow him to create the character that you need him to be, is where you will get the best Matt Owies. So hopefully we can adapt and keep him, because he is somebody who next year is being very empowered to take leadership over who he is in his career. So let's see how it plays out. Go Blues.